What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. And I'm super excited because today we're going to be talking about the dual mode exhaust and how to customize it using HP tuners. That is loud. Now, before we get right to the video, guys, I do want to go ahead and say thank you guys for all of your support. We are on the road to 10K subscribers by the end of 2021. So if you like these videos, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, hit that like button, and consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell, because about 3 out of every 4 of you guys are not subscribed. Beautiful day outside, guys. It's super windy, so I apologize if we get excessive wind noise here. But the Camaro, guys, a lot of you guys have been asking me in the comments, in the live chats, and through Instagram, DMing me, how is it that I'm able to modify the NPP exhaust to have specific functions? So today we're gonna go dive in through the HP Tuners software to show you guys exactly where the tables are and what you need to change and how to change it to make your dual mode exhaust perform similar to mine, and or however you would like to have it performing. First of all, before we can dive into that, I need to show you guys, for those of you guys that aren't familiar, how exactly my car is set up right now, already customized, and compare it to the way that it would have come from the factory. So let's go ahead and start with, of course, the cold starts. Now, from the factory, guys, the Camaro is set to have what's called a rumble start, and what that means is that no matter what mode you're in, tour, sport, or track, the valves will automatically open at startup to give you that loud enhanced burble from startup. But depending on the mode you're in, will quickly tone down and either close the valves or leave them open. Now, this car, we've already deviated from that with the way we have the rumble start, and that is because when the car is in tour mode, which it is right now, the valves, which are right there, you guys see they are open right now, actually will close. So you do not have a loud rumble start in tour mode, whereas with factory you would. So let me show you guys what I mean by that. So as you guys saw right there, as soon as I started the car, right before I started the car, the valve decided to close and stays closed. Now, that is a feature that I set up because I wanted to be able to turn this car on in the mornings or when my son Sebastian was asleep in tour mode and not have that loud start and annoy any of my neighbors. So we are now in the car, and as you guys can see, tour mode, nice and quiet. And basically this is what I love about the new settings and the way I've made it, is when you turn the car on, it is quiet, and even in here it is really quiet. But some of the other changes that we've made aren't only at startup, guys. I have also changed how this car behaves with the valves while driving. Now, typically tour mode has been one of those modes that will be nice and quiet at low speeds, but from the factory, if you floor it or go wide open throttle in tour mode, the valves will actually open. And that is something that I did not want, specifically because once you do the heads in the cam and do the headers in no cats, this thing becomes really, really loud. So we can be cruising, we're in tour mode right now, and nice and quiet. If I floor it, the valves will stay closed, which is something that is completely different from the way the factory is set up. So if we give it gas here, nice and quiet, it's very subdued, almost like stock, and it works great this way. So that's the way tour mode is set up. I love it. It's great when you're not trying to grab any attention and you just want to cruise and maybe go for a little spirited drive and not really bring much attention to yourself. When we put it into sport mode, instantly you hear the rumble from the exhaust, and it's much louder. Now the thing with sport mode, guys, is that you just heard it right there. After about 35 miles an hour, it will close the valves unless you're going wide open throttle. But it does have that low speed, under 35 miles an hour, valves open, throaty, louder exhaust note. And when you start the car up and you've left it in sport mode, it does still have the loud rumble start. So here, if we floor it, much louder, a lot more attention that gets brought up on the car, and overall just gives you that more exhilarating exhaust sound. Now, in this setup, I actually have not changed anything in the way that the valves operate in sport mode. And finally, we do have track mode. If we put it into track mode, you guys heard that we're cruising, the valves were closed in sport mode, but they now have automatically opened in track mode. So track mode is completely different and a 180 of tour mode. So in track mode, the valves are open 100% of the time, no matter what, whether you're cruising at whatever normal speed or you're going wide open throttle, the valves stay open 100% of the time. So that is basically the mode that I like to leave it when I'm going to the track, or if I'm going to be going out to Mexico to run, because as I've shown in previous videos, having the valves closed is about 20 horsepower difference, guys. There's a lot more restriction. You're not have as much of a flow, and you need the most power that you want, the least restriction when you're racing. The best thing about this, guys, is that you can actually adjust the drive mode either by the mode selector switch or independently on the radio. So like I've told many people before, I run this car in tour mode. That seems to be the best based on my tuner's recommendations for running at the track or racing. And when I have it in tour mode, the good thing is I can go independently and change the exhaust valves to put it into track mode and get the car to have the valves open even though the car's driving mode is in tour mode. With that being said, guys, let's go back and show you guys how you guys can do the same changes and what tables you need to change, where you can find it in the HP Tuners file, and basically walk you guys through what you're going to change and how you're going to change it so that you guys can make these same changes and play around with it if you'd like. To do this, you're going to need, first of all, HP Tuners and the MPVI2 OBD2 device so that you can actually load the tune into the car. And if you have the NPP setup, you will need to have the FSCM or the CCM controller unlocked as well, not just the engine, ECM and the TCM, but you will also need the third controller unlocked as well. So let's dive in and show you guys a stock file and basically where you can find the tables and what values you guys need to put into those tables to make it operate the way that I have mine set up, and you guys can then figure out and play with it. Guys, I want to make sure to show you guys all this so that you don't have to go to your tuner and bug your tuner and tell them, hey, I want to get this changed on my car and I want it to work the way mine is working. This way you guys can go step by step through these tables and you're not gonna mess anything up. These tables do not affect the engine or the transmission, so you guys can go in there and play with it and do whatever you guys would like without really having many issues. So please don't go and bugging your tuner and telling him, hey, can you get this done or can you get that done, because then that's just going to cause more headaches and things. Tuners these days are very busy and there's no need for them to be trying to get you a tune for small changes like that. That's something more of preference that I think we should be able to do pretty quickly. Here we've got a stock ECU and CCM tune, and that the CCM is the third controller for the 2019s, 2018s maybe and up. If you have a 2016, 2017, then you might have the FSCM, but same thing. And basically what we're gonna do is go into the system here. So this tab here, and right away the first thing that you're gonna see is active exhaust here. Now you can actually disable the whole active exhaust. You can actually disable or enable the AFM valve, which is in the middle, but we're not gonna really change any of this stuff here, guys. What we're gonna worry about is actually these parts right here. So we've got the exhaust rumble enable, and then we've got these three tables here: the performance 0, performance mode 1, and performance mode 2. So first things first, how to get the car to not do a loud rumble start in tour mode. So for that, we're gonna go to the exhaust rumble enable, and you'll see here we've got mode 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way through 6 modes. Now the Camaro actually has tour, sport, track, and it also has snow and ice, but there's no real need to touch that one. The ones that are the main priority are tour, sport, and track, and that is represented by mode 0 being tour, 1 is sport, and 2 is track. If you want the car to not have a loud rumble start, all we have to do is go in here and change this value to 0. Now here's where we go to the how the valves behave while driving. So again, performance mode 0 is our tour mode, and if we look at the stock file settings, you see either 100, 0, or -1, and then some value in between. So guys, to keep this basically closed 100% of the time, what we're gonna do is basically turn this whole table into a 100. So you can do that by just typing that in here and then hitting the equal sign. And now you guys can see we have changed everything to 100% on the close side, and on the open side we can also do the same thing, guys, and just change this to 100% as well. So on both tables, the close and the open, we're just going to go ahead and put 100, and that right there will basically give you 100% closed valves when in tour mode. And as you guys can see here, I actually opened up a compare file from the modified versions that I have, and we see that performance mode 1, which is sport, actually stays the same. I actually haven't changed that from the factory settings. But now performance mode 2, which is track, you guys see when it's in track we have -1, and -1 basically means open completely. And you guys can see in track mode any of the low gears is completely open all the time, but once you get into the high gear, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and low RPM, it is pretty much almost all closed when you're just cruising around at 2000 RPM, 1500 RPM, and that's for, you know, the normal cruising. But what we're gonna do is we want this to be just 100% open all the time, and to do that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually make all of this -1. So if you put -1, that will tell the computer to leave the valve open all the time, no matter what, when it's in track mode. And again, In the open valve, the open percentage, we are going to do the same thing. We're gonna get all this and make it -1 to have this completely open all the time. And it's as simple as that, guys. So you can have the valves completely closed, or you can have them completely open. So guys, there you have it. That is how you guys can go ahead and modify the valves and the way that the NPP exhaust operates in the different modes. So you guys can go in there and play with it and try different things out and see what you guys like and what you don't like. So with that being said, guys, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and make sure, if you haven't, to subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.